Okay, cool. So I think we can start now, and today we're going to focus on the tickets related to media, and then after that, Win is going to walk us through how to create OpenMS module and maybe some tips and stuff on the OpenMS side as well. So the first ticket I think is more urgent is the mUzima 176. Manny, I know that you're the one who filed this ticket. I think it's good for you to give us a brief description what this ticket is about and what you expect from it.
Okay, and we are creating the LAC forms currently, and the project has media content, that is videos and images that they do require them embedded mainly within the forms, so that using like a particular logic that they gave, be able to display one video at a time, and maybe next time display an image. So they've provided all these images and videos. So what we are looking for is a way that we are able to load these images to the SD card, and maybe using like the path to the image or the video, we are able to display that within the form.
Okay. And you also said that you want to include both the video and the image files to display, correct?
Yes, correct. Because the form that we are going to next has also the images.
Okay, cool. And then there were some questions that posted earlier about whether those files should be stored in the phone memory or the SD card. I think it's SD card, correct, Win? Win?
Yes, I think it should be in the SD card.
Okay. So, any more questions on this ticket?
I have one question, Adam.
Go ahead.
So, yeah. For the video we plan, we'll have a link in a form, and when user click on that link, it will basically run the video. But in case of image, how it should be? It should show the thumbnail, or it should show the link, or something. How it should be for the image?
So I think the workflow that we would look for is maybe also like a link or a label that when you click on it, then the image pops up.
Okay. So for image and video, for both, it will be a link kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And all this would be loaded to maybe a directory in the SD card. Yet to be decided.
Okay. So are we planning to have a dedicated folder which will contain these images and videos, or will simply search on gallery to find out the videos and image?
Well, I think it would be good if we can have a dedicated folder, but that would mean that we need to have maybe some naming conventions or something, because you might end up with the same videos for different forms but having the same name. So I think basically we need to maybe have a dedicated folder, but then within that have like subfolders to demarcate this belongs to this form.
Okay.
So I have a question. In terms of the workflow, let's say that you click on this link and then to display the image or to display the video, what's next? After, let's say that you display the image.
So what I'm thinking, Edda, is that after you display the image, because you're opening up like a video player from the device itself should have like all those other controls should come with it, that pause, forward, and maybe close. I don't know if that's correct.
So let's say that I think for video it's more clear because it will start playing and then it stop. When it stop, let's say that when the video is finished, what do you expect for next? Is it supposed to go back to the previous screen on the phone?
Yeah, it's supposed to take you back to the form.
So would that affect the timeout thing?
Sorry, I didn't get that, Eda.
So let's say that the video is 3 minutes long. Let's say that.
Yes.
And then so there's no activity for the mUzima app. So would the user be logged out from the app already?
I get that. I think the group should ideally have input on that. But what I'm thinking is maybe because we are not stopping the timeout counter, then ideally if it's like more than 5 minutes, because I think the default time allowed is 5 minutes, then ideally the user would have to be logged out.
Okay, so how about let's talk about the image file. Let's say you click on this link to display the image file. Is it supposed to be one image or multiple images, or how does it work?
So they do have a couple of images, I think around 10 images, but this would be displayed depending on the logic that they've given. So depending on the values entered on the form, different images would be displayed. So
Okay.
one image would be displayed at a time. So maybe we have like separate links, others would be hidden, and others would be shown depending on the logic given.
So let me ask you, like, are these supposed to display after at the end of the form, or it would be a dynamic thing that certain condition is entered, it will immediately prompt the user to click on the link to look at the media file?
So Edda, this is not decided yet, but what we were thinking is like at the end of the form, like then you have your media section where you'd have a section for displaying all the videos that are relevant to the values you entered, and then maybe after that we have another section for displaying all the images relevant to the values that you had entered.
Okay. You know, for me as the user, let's say that I am qualified to view 5 different media files. Let's say that it would not make sense for me to click 5 links. It would make sense for me just to click on one link and then those media files to play continuously one after one.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would be really awesome, but I think it would depend on the functionality of the ticket if it's able to address and give us that function.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone have comments on this?
I have one kind of. Uh, why is it required to embed images with the forms since we are already downloading the images and the video file in a device itself? So the reason behind why I'm asking is because in the form we have to give the URL for the video and the images, and that file is actually exist on device itself. So rather than clubbing that images and the videos in a form level, why don't we create a list of the videos which with the proper caption? So this video this and image belongs to this. So in one shot, I'll be able to see all the images and all the videos.
Yeah, I think that might be more complete feel, right?
Yeah, it will be a separate kind of activity. Because suppose we have the multiple images in a single form, so there will multiple links will be available. So user need to click on just now what we have discussed. User need to click on one by one to open that image.
Yeah, I just feel like clicking multiple links separately seems kind of like not as good.
So is there any specific reason behind embedding the link in a form itself, or we can have the kind of mUzima gallery in a device itself where we can browse those media files?
I think it's Wayne. Can you comment on this? I don't know this one.
Yeah, I think what we're trying to do is just to get access to the media, and because in a way the user want to uh, view it from the form itself. So,
Okay.
I mean, there's a few options that we can go. We can definitely go to the gallery option or have um, the link to it. Um, what I'm the initial what I think what I think a better way at the time was um, to have this link and then allowing the form creation to uh, select which media they want to embed. So it is not going to be uh, dependent on uh, like the directory structure or anything. So you can, for example, you have like 5 media and then you just want to display like 2 of them in form A, and then you want to display another 2 in form B, for example. You can have this link um, for each media in the form, um, and then when you click on it, you can display it, but it doesn't have to be displaying everything. I think that was my thinking at the time. I mean, if because we can definitely uh, go with the gallery one if that can also satisfy the requirement from the CDM.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Ed, I think my only reservations to the gallery one would be if we are able, because these forms are displayed depending on the logic and the values which are populated on the form. So I don't know if we go the gallery way, if we will still be able to capture that.
Mhm. Uh, uh, Gallery means I was thinking like in mUzima app, like we have the tabs which says downloaded forms and completed form, incomplete form. Similar kind of thing, the media file, if we can display with the proper caption inside the application.
But I think that would be much work for the user, since now that you would have like content relevant to this particular form, and so the user has to still uh, go through a list of media that might not be necessary to be displayed at that time.
Okay. Okay. Yep. Correct.
So Manu, do you mind to summarize what you would like to have so that we can document on the ticket?
Okay, and I'll do that.
Okay, cool. So that is the quick workaround because we don't have a complex handler for storing and displaying media files. and we have a ticket in OpenRIS trunk that for this reason, this is more like a long-term solution for us. Wayne, do you mind just to walk us through on this ticket and what might would that be like and point out the complexity on this ticket?
Cool. So the sorry. So the ticket is mainly creating a plugin, basically, in OpenMRS. So what OpenMRS have currently is only support for image, I think, a JPEG and PNG. So what happened is in OpenMRS you can create a complex observation where you can display like non-simple data. So observation, as you probably aware by now, is a question and answer type of data. So weight, 15 kg, height, something centimeters. So for the complex observation, you can store uh, a more complex structure, basically. So it's a file base. So you can upload, for example, if a doctor write a note on a patient, and then the doctor scan this data, you can upload this, for example, PDF or JPEG to OpenMRS as complex observation. Uh, do we have question for this one until this? And then once you upload it to OpenMRS, if it's a JPEG or PNG, OpenMRS can display this information. I think I have I might have an example of this, but I couldn't remember the patient name. It's in the one of the test server. So, but we need more than just image viewer on the server side. So the format, it could be anything, Sweeta, basically. PDF, yeah, just like Ada said, PDF, Word document, uh, video. But so the key thing for this ticket is creating the way to accept this kind of data, save it to the file system, and then when the observation is uh, requested by a user of OpenMRS, correctly getting this data back and then displaying it inline in the OpenMRS web page. So that's what the handler do. So in this case, we will create a way to accept video data. I'm sorry, uploaded by the user, store it in the server side in the file system, and then create the actual observation record. Give me a second. I can. I think I can query the test server to see if we have a complex obs. Is there any question?
So maybe use the teleconsultation form as example for it stores some images.
Yeah, so this is an example. So OpenMRS will store this data. Can you guys see it?
Yes, yes, we can see.
Yes, we can.
Okay. If you go to the test server and open this patient, so if you guys open this link, you should be able to see the complex odds. If you click on the captured clinical media image, the first ops data. Yeah. So that's so the web image handler will render the image in the web page. So you can have a look at the concept definition as well for the for this particular question. So the concept name is captured clinical media, and then in the concept definition you will see the handler for this particular complex odds is a web image handler. Web image handler will be able to read your upload, your image, which you upload through the web interface, save it to the file system, create the correct observation record, the one you see in the SQL, and then when the user wants to display the obs, read the complex ob record from the database, and then render the image in the web interface. I think that's the workflow of the complex handler. Do we have a question?
So Shreda's mic is not working. Her question is, the image docs will be uploaded from mUzima?
I think the image and docs will be uploaded from a separate module. Right, Ada? I think so.
We are talking about the new module, is it correct, Wayne?
Yeah.
But
So
how about for the teleconsultation form? How this image got uploaded?
so yeah, we also have a mechanism to upload. Oh yeah, those are different. I'm sorry. So this is different.
Yeah.
I got confused. So this, yeah, the media will be uploaded from mUzima. It's going to be collected through the consultation form. So currently, the consultation form can upload video, image, and voice. I think voice record. So, but we don't have the handler for video and voice and probably other documents. What we have is the handler for image. That's why we can. I mean, we can collect the data, but we don't have a way to handle it on the server side. What we have right now is a way to handle just the image.
So in short, I think the reason we're kind of like mixed all together because there's so many different needs of the media features. So for this, right now we have the handler for the image, but we need to create a another handler, complex handler for video and audio files. That is this ticket is about. And then after that, we're going to discuss something a little bit kind of related but a little bit different. Is to create a OpenRS content module that to allow to upload and download and tagging and versioning to the media file. So that's the reason that sometimes we might mix them up a little bit. So Frida has another question. So the handler should be modified to accept more types of media like docs, X-rays, and stuff like that. So X-rays is more like image. I think it can use the current image handler. So we need another complex handler for other type of media files like audio and video. So basically, we need to have an addition of the yeah. So cool. You got it. Okay. Any more comments or questions?
I don't think it's going to be modified, Sweeta, but it's going to be rather registering a new class. I mean, you can definitely copy and paste because the baseline of the class should be the same. Because we need to hold on. Let me get you a link to the concept definition. Ada, can you open the link?
Sorry. Another RC pinged me, so I just took it. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if you look at the capture clinical media, so there is a handler specification over there, and then it's an image handler. So when you create a concept, you're basically defining a question, and then for this particular question, the handler is going to be image handler. So for a video question, you want it to be a video handler, for example. So it's a drop down. You can I think there's a few handler already registered. So that's why it's gonna be on a separate class because we need to separate the registration for this handler into the system.
Yeah, so basically we need another new data type handler for this media and audio files. Any more questions on this one? So next one, just go back here. So basically, this is to ask us to create OpenMRS module for kind of like a media, handle the media files to upload, retire, add versioning, and also text to the media file. I think we discussed this tickets probably 2 weeks ago, but I think it's a good time for Win to walk through how some basic about creating OpenMRS modules, since it might be new to some of us. So Win.
Okay. So creating a module in OpenMRS, at least for pre 2.0, something that we don't use yet, it's pretty straightforward. There is what do you call it? A Maven goal where you can execute to generate this structure. So you don't need to go through a lot of the manual steps. You can just mvn module wizard generate to yeah, that's the one. Use the module Maven archetype. That is the easiest way to generate a module. If you scroll down, you can see at the almost bottom part of the so it's very very straightforward. It will ask you some question. What is the group ID? Just leave the group ID to be org.openmrs.module. And then the artifact ID, I'm not sure what we want to call the module, Ada. I think what we need to provide probably the artifact ID. The package will be, it's not going to be asked. The version is going to be asked, but I would rather go with 1.0.0 snapshot, I think. And then the module name, I think we can provide this one, and then the description. I think after that one, it will generate everything for you. You will have one project, Mavenize, and then if you build a module, you will be able to deploy it directly to OpenMRS, and it's going to run. And you can see the admin link to your module, and then with some like hello world kind of thing in the OpenMRS.
Hey, Vin, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. So just have a quick question. It's a very basic question, actually. So I just wanted to understand, like, you're just talking about how we can create an OpenMRS module. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So like the mUzima registration module is an OpenMRS module. Like, what would be an example of an OpenMRS module?
So OpenMRS module, we have like at least 4, I think. One is the mUzima, which will no, we don't have it over there yet, Ada. It's in. I think I should ask Michael to put it over there. What we have in GitHub, you can open the GitHub if you want. I think what we have in GitHub is the mUzima module, which will be which will provide the location where you can submit your form data, and it's also override and provide some search mechanism for the REST to get the data from OpenMRS. And then we have the registration, which have the handler to handle the form data. And then we have a separate module, the mUzima Forms module, which provide the form for mUzima.
Okay. Okay. Right. So is there any reason we are talking about this today? I mean, is this in any way tied to the handler that we're going to create, or is this something completely different?
It's I think it's gonna be completely different. So for the handler, it's to handle observation data. For
Mm-hmm.
this one, uh, I think we want to have a media management module. For this ticket, it will create a module not completely related to OpenMRS, um, where you can upload a document basically and media to OpenMRS server, and then add some meta information about the media, and then provide REST resource where we can get them where we can get this meta information about the media and the document, and also provide a REST resource to download this media and document. So that's the the idea for this module. For the handler itself, it's just creating a way to get observation data, to receive observation data, and then display it. So it's not related, I think.
Okay. But the handler will be part of the mUzima registration module. Is that correct? Or wherever the other handlers that we have, the form handlers, it will be inside that module.
Correct. I think
Okay.
for the image handler, I would put it in the consultation module, because I think it's going to be part of the consultation. So we have another module in mUzima. If the user want to have like a consultation, kind of thing, where the doctor in the field can send um, image data, then they can send those images to the server through this um, particular form.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think one question for you is that for this OpenMRS media module, that for this ticket, should that be applied to 1.8.2 or above, or 1.9.7? I think probably it's good to document now.
I think we can just make it 1.8 something, because
If we
it's,
make it 1x something, would that work for 1.9.7?
yeah, the lowest version that we want to support probably 1.8.2. So in the when you create a module, just say the dependency for the module is 1.8.2, because it's not going to be dependent as much on OpenMRS. Because so the way we look at dependency in OpenMRS is so OpenMRS have entry point to get, as a developer, to get into the OpenMRS um, mechanism. Um, OpenMRS provide what they call contacts. So when you want to do anything with OpenMRS, there is a class called contacts. Let me see if I can share my screen. Can you guys see my screen? So this is the entry point to get into OpenMRS. So if you want to, the layering for OpenMRS to get to the database is going to be like this. So OpenMRS, we have the database, DB, will be accessed by DAO layer, and then DAO layer will be accessed by service layer. So this is the layering in OpenMRS. So consumer code will access OpenMRS through service. To get to the service, you need to go through the contacts class. So, for example, if you want to save an observation, you will go to contacts, get observation service, save obs. And then for module base, you can get to the service in the module through I think Hangout could have a better chat mechanism. Doesn't look very clear.
Mm-hmm.
So I can show you another example of um, how the service is being used in OpenMRS. So the code highlighted over there, I don't know if you guys can see it. This one is an example of mUzima module accessing OpenMRS contacts. So mUzima registered a new service called data service. And then what happens is you cannot access the OpenMRS database without going through this same layer. So for the module, it's going to be the same. So the database will be accessed by the DAO layer from the module, and then the DAO layer will be accessed by the module service, and then consumer code can use the same approach. So in this case, what happened is the mUzima module is getting the data service, which is registered by itself, and then save a queue data. The definition for this service is in the API. So this one will be generated by the Maven archetype. So this is how we register a new service into OpenMRS service structure. And then we will have the data service itself is just an interface. Which will be implemented by the implementation of the service. This one. So all this field, the error DAO, blah 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 blah, will be injected by Spring in runtime using this definition. For example, in this one, QDataDAO, the bin class for the QDataDAO is a Hibernate QDataDAO. So this QDataDAO will be injected with this bean at runtime. And the QDataDAO is the one which will actually do the low-level database call. I have a generic DAO. So when SafeQData is called, um, this one will actually call get queue data, save data, and passing the form data. The save data will actually calling this particular save data. This one is the actual Hibernate save process. Do we have questions? No question? We have 4 minutes or 5 minutes.
I think you make everyone sleepy, Wayne. You need to talk louder.
I think I was talking really loud.
No, you sound like you're still in bed.
Really?
Yep. Okay, I think Sheila wants to ask questions.
The voice indicator is beaming all the way. So 1, 2, 6 of them is beaming. So I thought I was talking very loud.
No, it sounds like you are ready to go to bed. Hey, Srida, you can type your questions if your mic is not working.
Hello?
Yeah, it works now.
Okay. I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, I just wanted to just say I don't have any questions. I thought you were waiting for any questions. I don't have any questions on this. Hello?
Hello. Yeah. I think if
Hello?
there is anything come up, you guys can just ping us through email.
Sure.
Yep.
So before we wrap up, I just want to ask Manu, except this, the first ticket we discussed, is there any urgent or burning issue that we need to know and help you for the CDM rollout?
No, Ed, I think for now I'm going on well. We had some sessions with the forms team earlier on, and I'm going through. I think the other thing that was a blocker to me was the concepts, but you helped explain.
Okay, cool. So it's okay now.
Yeah.
All right. Nelson, do you want to share your stuff? Nelson? In case you're talking, we cannot hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that. Yes, what I've been up to is the JJ. We had a meeting with JJ on Monday, and they wanted to use the fingerprint solution. So they wanted a way whereby they just invoke the Android app without necessarily having their forms or anything inside the app. So I've done that where they can invoke using an HTML5 and get the fingerprint output to their HTML5 page. Then they can store the fingerprint the way they want. That is what I've done. The next is they wanted again server-side identification for the fingerprint. So at the moment, the current implementation we have even in mUzima for the fingerprint is done on the device. So I've done a bit of research for the past couple of days, and I'm like 75% sure that we can do the server-side identification of the fingerprint. I just need to complete it and test it out and release it out for people to do either options you want. If you want to do the identification based on the Android device, or you want to do your identification on the server side. So that's what I've been up to for the last couple of days.
Okay, thanks.
And
so
then I checked. Sorry, I
go
checked
ahead.
the device. They're using. I checked the device you had asked earlier on. They're using Huawei phones. Yeah.
Is it the small Huawei phone, the Y210, something like that?
Yeah, it's the Huawei, like the one Manu has. Manu, which one is it? The Intel Huawei? Emmanuel.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the one that you have.
Huawei Y210.
Yes, that one.
Okay, I see. So we have a couple of the same phone here, so we can test as well.
Okay.
Just want to FYI, Judy also getting ready to work on her biometric project. So there might be some similarity with what you have done already, Nelson. So maybe we can collaborate on that as well.
Yeah, sure, we can.
Yeah, sure. So anyone have any more comments? I know it's already past the time. So if any more comments or questions?
Week, is it the priority of the thing hasn't changed, right? It's still the set of Jiras that you sent me.
Yeah. So
those are still.
Yeah, I think it would be still the same one that I sent you guys a few days ago. I can reconfirm so that it'll be more clear.
Sure. Great.
Sure. Great. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.
Bye. Thanks.
Yep. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.